There's a scene in Wanted, the movie Wanted, and Angelina Jolie's beating up the kid. And if you've seen the movie, then you understand what I'm saying. So she's beating up this kid, and she's like, "Why are you here?" And he still didn't answer the question. So she beats him up more. She's like, "Why are you here?" So she beats him up more. And she's like, "Why are you here?" And she keeps beating him up until he finally answers the question, "Why are you here?" And then he says, "Because I don't know who I am." And when he said that, she stops beating him up. And that's so funny because I know it might just sound wild, but I like to think sometimes that is like divine intervention. If we want to label it that way, I'm just using the terminologies that I can use that you guys can best relate to or comprehend. So I think that's how divine intervention works. We just keep getting our ASS handed to us and slapped all around until we wake up one day like, oh, okay, we're honest with ourselves. I don't know who I am. And then maybe you gotta get slapped a few times to realize, oh, okay. Yes, then she was able to work with him, you know what I mean, and train him. Or she was able to work with him, I would say that. It's when he said, I don't know who I am. And then she stopped beating him up. She's like, okay, first you admit to yourself the truth. Okay, I don't know who I am. And then it was in him realizing he didn't know who he was, he became who he needed to be, in a way. Or either discover, there's one part where it's like, okay, well then him not realizing who he was made him coachable into who he was to be, or him not realizing who he was and he was getting his behind handed to him made him realize who he was, who he actually really was. Because sometimes it's like you're getting beat because of who you actually are, like, in a way. I know that doesn't sound great. That doesn't sound like, yes, we're going to whoop your ass because of who you really are. It's like, no, what? No, but for real, though. And then you wake up and you realize, oh, I know exactly who I am and what I'm doing and my purpose. And then everything stops. But it stops after that, though. It does stop, though. That's the thing. She stopped beating him up once he realized, like, he woke up to his truth. And then that's when the beating stopped. I know that was crazy. I know that was probably a different example to give. But, yeah, I just found that very metaphoric when she was doing that.